A brand new mountain cabin sitting on 3.5 acres just listed for under $55,000. Meanwhile, someone in Dallas is paying more than that in rent over just the next 2 years. Affordable home ownership did not disappear. It moved to places nobody is paying attention to. These are 10 of them, and number 1 looks like a dream. Number 10, 804, South Division, Mansfield, Arkansas, $75,000. We start in Mansfield, Arkansas, and right away the price does not match what you are getting. For $75,000, this gives you 1.74 acres, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 1,260 square feet in a home built in 1940. That is not a shell. That is a real house with room to breathe. And the acreage is actually 10 city lots combined into one property. That changes the whole picture. Instead of a cheap house squeezed onto a little strip of grass, you are looking at space that could fit a garden, a shop, a future addition, whatever you want. The listing also mentions a metal roof, vinyl siding, a carport, and a rock patio. Ready from day one. Mansfield sits about 29 miles from Fort Smith, so hospitals, stores, and jobs are all within reach. You just do not have to sell your soul to live near them. Check this one out right here. That was the warm-up. The next one gives you double the square footage and throws in an entire second house. Number 9, 1112 County Road Y, Plainview, Texas, $74,900. Plainview, Texas is where you start wondering if these listings are even real. For $74,900, you walk into 3.11 acres, a 2,036 square foot ranch house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, a second smaller house on the same property, and a metal shop, all under $75,000. That second house and shop are what make this one feel almost unfair. Workspace, guest quarters, storage, rental income potential. Most homes at twice this price do not come with that kind of flexibility. The main house was built in 1962, and the whole setup reads more like a small country compound than a budget listing. Plainview is the county seat of Hale County, so you are not guessing where to buy groceries. You already know, and 3 acres with multiple structures for under $75,000 is the kind of deal that would not even exist in most states. But out here, it is sitting there waiting. Now, if flat Texas land is not your thing, the next one flips the whole mood. And honestly, this might be the one that makes you pause the video and check the listing yourself. Number 8, 9,272 Morrison Road, Rushford, New York, $69,900. Rushford, New York feels like it belongs in a completely different price range. For $69,900, you get 5.4 acres, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 1,008 square feet in a house built in 1960, all wrapped in trees, privacy, and that quiet upstate feel most people think costs 6 figures. Once a property crosses the 5-acre line, it stops being a house with a yard and starts being your own land. The listing mentions a private driveway and a wooded setting, and that alone makes it sound like something you would find at double or triple this number. Most homes under $70,000 feel cheap because they are falling apart. This one feels cheap because nobody is looking at Rushford. Their loss. It sits in Allegheny County, northeast of Olean, close enough to reach a town, far enough to hear absolutely nothing at night. And if you have ever priced a wooded acreage in the Northeast, you know that $69,900 for 5+ acres with a house on it is the kind of number that makes people refresh the page to see if it is a typo. That was already hard to beat. But now the prices drop below $65,000, and the next entry sounds almost too clean for the number. Number 7, 273 Hundley Lane, Charmco, West Virginia, $64,900. Yes, the town is called Charmco, and yes, it kind of lives up to the name. For $64,900, you get 1.54 acres, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 640 square feet in a home from 1962. Small house, but the details around it punch way above the price. Metal roof installed about 6 years ago, L-shaped deck out back, a flat, level yard with open woodland right behind it. That level yard is a bigger deal than it sounds, because in much of West Virginia, the land tilts so hard you need hiking boots just to check the mail. Here the ground is flat, usable, and perfect for coffee on the deck without worrying about sliding into the trees. You are also close to Raynell, Rupert, and Interstate 64, with Beckley and Charleston beyond that. So despite the tiny town name, you are not actually stranded. Honest home, honest land, honest price, and the kind of place where $65,000 still gets you something you can feel good about owning. Alright, now we cross into territory where the prices start looking like someone forgot a digit. And this next one, if you told most people this listing was real, they would not believe believe you. Number 6, 7884 Woolwine Highway, Woolwine, Virginia, $52,500. This is the entry where people usually stop and say it out loud. $52,500? For that, you are getting 5.456 acres, 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and 1,120 square feet in a house built in 2001. Not 1951, not 1971, 2001. That build year changes the entire conversation because most homes at this price come with 60 or 70 years of wear already baked in. This one does not, and the setting makes it even harder to believe. 5.5 acres at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains, with mountain views, a deck, a porch, and an outbuilding. That is the kind of listing people screenshot and send to their group chat with no context, just the price and the photos. Woolwine sits in Patrick County, about 33 miles from Martinsville. Not cut off, just tucked away in the kind of scenery that most people pay vacation money to visit, and someone can own it for $52,500. That was Blue Ridge land for the price of a mid-sized sedan, but the next one somehow packs even more house and more acreage into an even smaller number. Think about what you pay for rent. Then listen to this. Number 5, 12,588 Cottage Road, South Dayton, New York, $47,900. South Dayton is where this list starts hitting different. For just $47,900, you are looking at 6.15 acres, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 1,814 square feet in a house built in 1850. Let that land for a second. Nearly 2,000 square feet on over 6 acres of land for less than 1 year of rent in most American cities. That is not a fixer on a forgotten lot. That is a full-size country home with enough property around it to feel like you actually own something. The 1850 build year gives it that old house character that people spend fortunes chasing in New England. And the listing even shows a recent price drop, so the number is somehow still falling. South Dayton sits in Cattaraugus County, with Buffalo on the broader map. Hidden, absolutely, but that is exactly the point. The places where homes still cost less than a new truck are not going to be on the front page. You have to go find them, and this one was waiting. We are deep in the under $50,000 zone now, and the next one proves you do not need a big house to make a smart move. Number 4, 1,824 County Road, 1,265 Center, Texas, $45,500. Center, Texas is cheap without feeling hopeless, and that is harder to find than people think. For $45,500, you get 3 acres, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and 896 square feet in a house built in 1975. Nothing flashy, but nothing broken either. 3 acres is enough land to matter without turning into a full-time project. The house feels like a real standalone country home, not some thrown together structure sitting on dirt that someone wanted to sell. And that difference matters because not everybody wants a giant spread. Some people just want something they can walk into, live in, and actually afford without a 30-year anchor around their neck. Center is the county seat of Shelby County, about 30 miles northeast of Nacogdoches. Real town, real services, real market. Far enough out to keep the price honest, close enough in to keep your life simple. See the listing right here. That one kept things simple, but the next entry takes simple even further and somehow still feels like a win. Number 3, 55 Kipps Drive, Augusta, West Virginia, $45,000. Augusta, West Virginia goes small on purpose, and that is exactly why it works. For $45,000, you get 1.38 acres, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and 560 square feet in a home built in 1988. Not big, but it makes total sense the second you hear it. Small country house, low upkeep, a piece of your own land, quiet, and a monthly cost that would make most renters in America cry. The 1988 build year also puts it ahead of the older properties on this list, which means fewer surprises hiding in the walls. Augusta sits east of Romney in Hampshire County, with Winchester, Martinsburg, and Cumberland all within the broader reach. So you are not stuck with nothing around you. It is more like a low-cost home base that still keeps you connected. Small? Yes, but smart small. The kind of small where you own it free and clear while other people are stressing over mortgage payments 3 times the size. That is not sad. That is strategy. Take a look at this one right here. Now, if you love that one for its simplicity, the next entry swings in the complete opposite direction. This one goes big on land and the price barely moves. Number 2, 808 Lower Pompey Branch Road, Shelbyana, Kentucky, $44,000. Shelbyana, Kentucky is where this countdown hits the spot people have been waiting for. For $44,000, you are getting 5 acres, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a house dating back to 1950. 5 acres alone would stop most people mid-scroll. Throw a full house on top of it, and you have the kind of Appalachian deal that property hunters spend months chasing and almost never find at this number. Once you cross the 5-acre line, the property stops being a cheap house with some extra dirt and starts being a real rural holding. The listing calls it a fixer, but the opportunity is dead simple to understand. Enough land for privacy, enough house to work with, a price that makes you check the listing twice to see if they left off a zero. Shelbyana ties into the Pikeville area, so there is a real town nearby. It is rough around the edges, but it is the kind of rough that makes you grab a calculator instead of scrolling past. And now, the one that took the top spot. Remember the cabin from the very beginning? Here it is. Number 1. Poteau Mountain Cabin, Heavener, Oklahoma, $54,900. The Poteau Mountain Cabin in Heavener, Oklahoma is listed at $54,900 on 3.52 acres. Brand new for 2026. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, about 320 square feet. On paper, it is the smallest home on the list, but this is the one that captures the whole point of this countdown better than any other entry. This does not feel like a leftover bargain nobody wanted. It feels like the thing people are actually searching for. A tiny cabin surrounded by privately owned timberland, sitting on a mountain with nothing but quiet and trees in every direction. The small size is not the compromise. It is the whole appeal. You are not buying square footage. You are buying the feeling of finding something that most people will never even know exists. It sits about 3.5 miles northeast of Heavener and roughly 20 miles from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Close enough for groceries, far enough to disappear. Affordable home ownership did not die. It just moved to places like this. And the people who find these listings before everyone else, they are the ones who actually get to live the dream instead of just talking about it. See the full listing right here. If this changed how you think about what is still possible out there, hit subscribe. We dig up hidden listings like this every week, and the next one drops soon.